Topic is about what is server, what kind of different services. Already we have seen protocols and port numbers. Same way, what are the different services kind of stuff. Normally we discussed about the networking, guys. So connecting to our more devices when they are communicating each other. We are discussed about a net. Okay, so we are communicating each other. What is the communication? How they will communicate using some protocols. Shalini is saying, okay. Look at here. I have a PC, for example. Okay. So just it is a symbolic representation of network, guys. It does not mean I am using a bus topology. It's symbolic representation of network devices connected in the network. Okay, it does not mean a bus topology always. Okay, devices connected in the network. For example, I have a PCA, PCB, PCC is there. Okay, a PCA is communicating to PCB. Why should communicate and what type of communication it is? If in case PCA contains some data, for example, PCA contains a data. Okay. PCA contains the data. Now PCB want to that data. PCA data is there. PCA want to access the data. PCA want to access the data. Okay. So what it will do? We try to access the data. So where is the data is there? APC. VP, who is accessing VPC? In this instant, A is like a server, B is like a client. But A is not a client, B is not a client, C is not a client, or as well as there are not a servers. Just in that instant only, they act like a. For example, there is a printer, shared printer. Printer is connected to a CPC. This printer. Okay. Printer is connected to CPC. CPC can able to take a print. But for example, APC want to take a printout. So how to do this? It will send a thing to first it will send a request. I want a printer access. This is want agreeing with what I'm trying to do. First I have to send my print request to C and C understand and send a request to the printer. Okay, so like this, C is giving print service, but C is not a print server. But in this instant, they will communicate and take a print. Okay, so there are individual systems, no centralized control, no centralized services. No one is client, no one is server. So that is called a peer-to-peer. It's a kind of work group model, sharing information, data, resources between two or more systems without any centralization. No centralized control. A system act like a server and other act like a client in the particular instance only, not always. No permanent server or a client kind of stuff. Okay, this is peer-to-peer. Next, server and client. What is server and client? The server provides a service. Client will access the service. A particular server, particular service, particular server, particular service. Okay, particular server, particular service only. For example, there is a web server and it is provided web service. Client use a web browser to access the web pages from web server. Okay, web server having web pages we can access through web services. So web server provide a web service. Client access web pages from web server. Very simple. Okay. Server provide a service, client access the service. But actually what happens? Client request for a service to the server respond to the client. So here it is a small diagram again. It is a centralized server, means there is a one server and multiple clients. Okay, server is here always a server. Server is always a server. And there is a client. Just for our understanding, just a representation of network. Okay. So this is the server. Example server A. This is PC1. So these are the client PCs. So it is a, for example, a web server. Just for example, it is a web server. Okay. So what this client will do, if it is required a web page, it send a request to the server, server give web page to client. Okay, it send a request to the web server and web server will give a response to the client. Okay, same way. PC2 send a request to the web server give reply to the PC2. This is centralized one web server and it is always a web server. Okay, server provide a service, client access the service. Okay, so here it is a guys understand what is peer-to-peer, what is server and client.
Hello, sir. Kindly repeat, sir. Peer-to-peer server.
Yeah, peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer is a simple workgroup model. Means you have a laptop or a desktop. There are just peer-to-peer only. Like you have a two laptops connected in the network. I have a data. I want to share it. It's a peer-to-peer communication. It's a type of communication, right? I'm not a server. That is not a client. Okay. Just we are sharing information or sharing printer. Okay. Or just sending a messages. It's a one-to-one
Okay.
communication only. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
But in the server and client, it is not like that. Server provide a specific service. Okay. And we want a service, we'll ask a server, then server will provide that particular service. Okay. Next. How these servers become a server? When we call a server as a server, okay, there is a different type of servers. When we call based on what services, server become a server. How a server, different type of servers are there. Okay, so hardware server, a machine means computer, machine or a system or a computer. Server means hardware wise becomes a particular server. So based on what services it providing, when we call a server as a particular server, based on what services it is providing. Okay. Next one is how it provide a service. So how it is by installing built-in features, or roles, some packages or applications. Okay, by applications, server applications, not a server application. Now, torrent is not an example of peer-to-peer server. Not torrent is. So yeah, of course, in torrent you can see peers. Okay, it's not a peer-to-peer server. It's not even peer-to-peer is not even a server. Okay, it not comes under server. Peer-to-peer means two machines are communicating. Two or more devices are connected in the network. They are communicating without any centralized control, without any specific server. Okay, specific server providing a service kind of stuff. For example, if I put a print server, then it is a server client communication, the way of communication between two devices. Okay, so both are randomly communicating or maybe sharing information or printing. It is just peer to peer only, no binding here. But server and client, server is always provided a particular service, either one service or multiple service, but servers provide a service. Not in this instant, always. Okay, client will access the service always. Okay, from server, client will access service from the server. How this server become a particular server, or a machine or a computer become a particular server based on what services it is providing. Okay, and how it can be able to provide a service by installing a built-in features, like you take a Windows server. Okay, we call it as Windows server, but which service it is, able to provide based on installing certain features or roles inside, or by installing certain packages or applications. So it will become a particular server. Servers based on services. Okay, for example, you take a web server. If you install a Apache, HTTPD, Microsoft IIS, Tomcat, Glassfish, different applications are there. NGIX, okay, NGIX, NGIX. Recently, it has become more popular. NGINX, this one. Okay, it is also a web server. It's a web server. So install this one into your Linux system. So then automatically it become a web server. So how to access a web server? Protocols like a HTTP, HTTPS. Okay, the protocols also involved in this one. File server. How a machine become a file server? By installing FTP protocols, FTP, sftp, vsftp, these kind of packages are built-in features. It become file server. FTP protocols are 2021 port numbers. FTP itself a protocol. DHCP server. What DHCP server will do?
Sir,
Yeah.
hello, sir.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, sir. What is in HTTP and HTTPS 80 and 443? 80/443.
Okay. I will tell again, guys. HTTP, if I is a web related web pages related protocol. Okay, hypertext transmission protocol. What are the data you are sending or receiving through the web communication? Data is not encrypted. Data is as it is only. Okay. If someone catches your data in your network or outside of network, someone is trying to capture your data. They capture the data. They can read what are the data you can able to send and receive. Okay. HTTPS is not like that. When you are sending or receiving a data is encrypted. If you see WhatsApp, it shows end-to-end encryption. Means you can see the data and the recipient can able to see the data. If I try to capture what are the data you are sending and receiving, I cannot understand because it is encrypted. Okay. For example, you log into your email account, banking account. So what are the data you are sending and receiving? If it is HTTP, someone will capture your data, or your username, passwords, account details, everything. Okay. If it is HTTPS, data is encrypted. Data is encrypted. So you can see this HTTPS means this data I can able to see, you can able to see. But while it is while it is sending to server to you, data is encrypted. It's a compulsory question, guys. I repeatedly told you. But anyway, it is good. It is a port number. 2080 is a port number of HTTP. HTTPS port number is 443. Capital S. Small s or capital S, no problem. S means secure or a SSL. Generally, people tell secure. S means secure, but originally S means here it is over SSL or TLS. Same goes. FTP, not secure. vsftp, sftp, secure. Okay, it is not secure. This is secure. Got it? DHCP server. Okay, dynamic host configuration protocol. DHCP means you are getting an IP address automatically. Okay, so again, already I told, again I'm telling guys, still a lot of people in the same mode, like you have a mobile phone, the IP address is already configured in the mobile phone. No guys, you will get an IP address to your mobile phone, laptop or desktop from DHCP server. DHCP server assign an IP address or configure an IP address to your client devices. Okay, DHCP and 6768 is a port number. DNS is a server, is a domain name system, port number is 53. What is DNS? For example, I open a website. This time I will open Java T point. Okay, I open a website like www.java.t.point, mail.google.com, docs.google.com. Okay, so when I open this one, all communications by IP address. So how to communicate to java.t.point.com server with IP address, but I don't know IP address. So what I have to do? I cannot do anything. My server send a request. My client send a request to DNS server. I want a java.t.point.com server IP address. Okay, to DNS server, I send a request. I want a IP address of Java T.point. Then this DNS server gives me IP address of Java T.point. Okay, you may get a doubt, sir. I'm not having in my home any DHCP server. I don't have any specific DHCP server or a DNS server. In my home, I don't have DHCP server and DNS server. But my PC is got an IP address, and when I open any website, I can open the website without any DNS server. Of course, guys, you have a router. The router is act like a DHCP server and a DNS server. Exactly say local DNS server. From there you will get it. You are having Wi-Fi router. The router built-in features are there, DHCP and DNS. So you are sending request to your DHCP. Of course, if you see your configuration, okay, not so if you go to CMD IP config all, will tell you what it is. DNS server address, DHCP server. So for I got IP address, I got a IP address from this DHCP server. Okay, if I open any website, if I am trying to communicate to any server with a name, I want to try to communicate any server with a name. Okay, this DNS server will give me IP address. It is going to give me an IP address. That is DNS server. Active Directory. Active Directory is a domain controller authentication server. Okay, so port number is 88 for Kerberos protocol. Domain controller. Guys, we are already discussed what is peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer means where all PCs are peer-to-peer only, no centralized control, right? But you have 100 computers in your organization, 200 or 500 computers in organization. Lot of employees are working. Okay, so sometimes, of course, we need a centralized authentication system. My PC authenticating me. I have my username in my laptop. So my laptop is authenticating me while I'm putting my username and password. My laptop is authenticating. So in organizations, they use individual laptops or desktops. Okay, so they are controlled by a centralized domain controller. Centralized server, that is called a domain controller. It is a centralized authentication. That is domain controller. WDS is a Windows related Windows deployment server. Gupta. Already present, right? Forget.
Thank you. Sorry, sir. Thank you, sir. Sorry.
Okay. So WDS server, it is a Windows related, but of course there is a different type of deployment servers are there. If you know how to install an operating system, it is very easy. So very simple. You have a system. You are going to install a OS through using CD or pen drive. You install an operating system. You have 100 computers, and you have to install operating system in the 100 computers. How to do it? One by one you will do it. You will die. Okay. So you can. That's time very time taken and lot of hard work. So what I will do? I'll create a server. I make the server as a deployment server. Okay. So I make server as a deployment server. Through network, I can deploy operating system to through network. I can deploy operating system through network. What I said, for 100 computers at a time, I can deploy operating system through network. See, it's very simple, right? It's a WDS server or a Windows deployment server. Of course, Linux deployment servers also there. That's a different one. Mail servers. Mail servers. Mail server means now we are accessing mails. You are sending mail, receiving a mail through mail servers only. Without mail server, you can't access. Different protocols we use for mail server access, SMTP, POP3, IMAP kind of stuff. And to become a machine, become a mail server means mail server application we have to install, like a Microsoft Exchange, Zimbra, Squirrel Mail, Tomcat, like that. Okay. VPN servers, work from home candidates connecting to VPN, so then they can access their remote infrastructure. VPN servers. Okay. Next one is storage servers. Next one is storage servers. Storage servers. We can, this is storage solutions, like you can centrally store the data. You have a data in your laptop. So every individual laptop or desktop having a data, but it is accessed from your laptop only. But if it is a common data, means multiple users can able to access data. Or you should not store always data into your PC. You should store in a centrally. For example, project files. Okay, so you can access from centrally. So centralized data management is there. Storage servers, NAS servers, SAN type of servers are there. Then, room lo unnattu. Next is a database servers. Like you store data in the SQL format, right? So that is database servers are there. Oracle database server is there, right? The Oracle database application is there. Oracle database application. You install a Oracle database application into a machine, it is become database server. Install a MS SQL server into a machine, it become Microsoft SQL server, a database server. You install a MySQL application, then it is a database server. So it is by installing some applications or built-in features or maybe certain packages, a machine become a particular server. It provide a specific service. Of course, why I copy and keep it? Because to avoid confusion, guys. Virtualization server. This is provide a virtual machines. We can create a virtual machines in the virtualization server. You can create a virtual machines, not in your PC. Centrally, you can create a virtual machines and you can access from virtual machines from virtualization servers. Okay, different hypervisors are there, means different applications are a OS based tools are there, like a Hyper-V, VMware vSphere, Citrix, Gen servers, Proximox, Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization, different type of virtualization platforms install into a machine. Install into a machine, it become virtualization server. So this is, guys, how a server or a machine can able to provide a service, and based on the services what are the names of the servers. It's a different type of servers. Okay, guys, got it? Different type of servers based on what service it is providing.
Sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, in this line of BDS server, WDS server,
Yes,
it's a Windows deployment service, but it is used to deployment of the Windows operating system.
yes.
Yes, but how can they deployed like a remotely in the all system?
Yes, very good. Okay, it is a server, of course. Server. These are the clients. So normally you have to use CD or a pen drive to store the data, to deploy operating system, installing operating system. Tell me. Okay. Look at here, guys. What happened to this? What will happen? This is my WDS server. In this one, I put my OS related data. OS having a two parts, OS part and boot, means OS main files and bootable files in this one. Okay, they are all connected in the network. So at client side, already boot processing, right? So I choose network boot. I choose network boot. Okay, so the client should boot from network. I choose network boot. Okay, so this PC will send a request to the server through the network. Will send a request to the server. So do you have an operating system? If you have, please give me. If you have, please give me. So Windows Server, what it will do, it recognize the devices. Of course, there is a two more services required. One is, of course, one more device, DHCP. DHCP will give IP address. First, DHCP assign an IP address to each and every device. So your Windows Server understand the clients through communicate through IP address, and there is a multicasting communication is also there using protocol called bootp. Okay, this is bootp means you are booting protocol. You are booting through server network. So bootp protocol. Your system is booting through protocol. So first it will boot. Bootable files will send to each and every PC. So obviously, first it will boot. Then you will get a operating system installation options. Okay. So you have to choose installation options and OK, final, and it will install. It is simple. OS is transferring from server to client. Very simple to understand. OS is transferring from client, server to client. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's a beautiful concept, guys. Actually, it is beautiful concept. So people who are interested
Sir,
in it,
it have a have a one place, and it is sharing like a server to
yes,
every client.
very good, Correct. So one server can install to multiple machines. Like my system is already open, OS is there. I'm booting from my hard disk only. So I don't get that OS. How to get it? I want to boot from network, then I have to go to boot menu options. There I have to change my boot menu to network boot. Then only I will get it. Okay. Guys, anybody is interested learning of Windows Server administration? I don't find any YouTube resources, but installation is okay. Active Directory, DHCP, DNS. That part only we are teaching now. But try any less paid institutes. Okay, small institutes are there. Like if you know Zoom technologies, so very less cost. Course cost is very less. But here belongs to different places because Zoom is in Hyderabad. Okay, with 3,000 rupees, you will learn Windows administration. Once you done, then you can practice. I'm not giving courses now, but have a liking is there still. Okay, and valid certification, Microsoft certifications you can try. Okay, yeah. So very beautiful concept, guys. We call certain things as a server. How we can call something as a server? Can you call my laptop as a server? No, right? It is a desktop. Okay, it is a desktop operating system. So what I'm doing in desktop operating system, I play games, I browse internet, I am teaching now. Okay, online meetings, video editing, all these things we are doing in my laptop. So server purpose is to provide a service by installing built-in features or by installing packages or by installing some applications. Where we install these kind of stuff into a specific operating system called a server operating system. So we call certain servers based on their operating system as a server. Windows servers. This is Windows 10, not a server. Windows Server, NT Server 2000, 2003, 2008, 2000 R2, 12, 12 R2, 2016, 19, 2022 is also came into market. I didn't still didn't try this 11 and 42 because no one is asking. I'm not done. So usually I will try the new server always. What are the features, kind of stuff. Okay. So Windows Server, different operating systems came into market. Okay. So Windows servers from Microsoft, same as different Linux based server operating system, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, Oracle, Fedora, Debian. So there is so many Oracle flavor, sorry, Linux flavored server operating system came into market. Same as for Unix also, IBM servers. Okay, different servers are there based on what operating system. IBM, I didn't find um, any kind of stuff, so that's why better not to put any kind of stuff. So Windows Server, Linux servers, Unix servers. Okay. So by installing into a particular package or built-in features or an application, they become a particular server. But based on the operating system, we call them as a servers. Okay. This is hypervisor type, means by installing these are the virtualization servers. Already we have told that one. So direct servers provide a virtual machine. So let's remove this one. Servers based on hardware configuration. Guys, our laptops and desktops are for desktop purposes only. Desktop OS purpose only. Not to provide any services. We are as a clients. We access the services. We don't provide a server. Why? Because of our hardware configuration and operating system. Okay. For a server hardware, we don't use i3 processor, i5 processor. We use a Xenon processor. Okay. Using Xenon processor. Xenon. This is a correct one. Google told correctly. Xenon processor. So a single processor. This is a rebrushed, very old version. That's it is showing like that. Can you see? This is a tower server from Dell. Okay, from Dell. It is a tower server. 12 lakhs. Okay, what is the processor inside? So I am trying to. It contain two CPUs already. What processor? See, it is the processor. See, it is Xeon Pentium processor, gold processor, gold, silver processor. We are getting this silver processor, 2.1 gigahertz, 12 core, 24 threads, 12 core, 24 threads processor, 18 MB cache memory, DDR4 support. Okay, so server hardware, their configuration is different. Normally we have a processor, RAM, motherboard, hard disk, CD-RAM. This is what we have. But if you see, a server contains so many things. If you see, these are all disk only, open disk. Like you can just click and remove the disk. You can see 10 terabytes of hard disk we can insert into these slots. That much size. This is fiber optical connection purpose. This is internally. Can you see? This is internal. So two processor sockets. Two processor we can put it in one motherboard. Okay. Their power supplies, and maybe this is a RAM slot or something. Somewhere it will be there. Okay. SSD slots are there. Okay. Two SMPSS and other connectivities. You can see LAN ports. Two LAN ports are there. One IDAR port is there. This is a some USB type of port is there. Okay. So if you see the configurations also, it is much higher. So 16 GB or DIMM RAMs are coming. Okay. So it is two RAMs we are getting. 16 plus 16, 32 GB RAM. Okay. Boot optimized storage card. Um, SATA had RAID controllers. RAID controllers. You can see here it is. SSD SATA. 2 terabyte of SSD, 2 units means totally 4 terabyte of SSD we are getting. 2 terabyte SSDs, 2 are we are getting. EFI, 4 fans, okay, jumper card, rest configuration, GPU riser cards are there, okay. Like you are a crorepati, then put a 12 lakhs rupees to get this one. Okay, so this is a Windows Server operating system. You want any operating system of this one, then you can go to pay additional money. This VMware virtualization servers, SUSE Linux, Red Hat Linux, VMware XI8, okay, no media required. Okay, so this another applications. If you want it, if you select, cost will increases. Okay, some device, vSAN configuration. These are all applications on cost is in crores. Okay, guys, like this example, it's a Xenon processor. This is best. Okay, so high capacity processor, RAM, hard disk, multi CPU sockets. Okay, multiple CPUs you can put it in a one system. That is the basically what server hardware is look like. But I am trying to tell three type of servers in the based on the shapes, sizes, usage you can define. This is a tower server, guys. What we are seeing. This is the tower server. It is look like a desktop only. It's look like a desktop. So all power connectivity in there. For example, in your organization, you want a two servers. So we'll go with the tower. 4 servers. We'll go with the tower. You need a eight servers. Better to go for a rack or a blade. Okay, rack server or blade server. See, this is a rack server. How much? 3,39,000. Do not think, guys, this is a less cost or that is more cost. Depends upon internal configurations. See this? It is completely one single server. It contains internally CPU, sockets, SSDs, additional external connections. So this is internal part. You can see CPU, sockets, and all everything is there inside. Okay, same as any server, but we can easily fit into the racks. Okay, so I will show you rack server in images. Can you see he's pulling the rack? So one single rack like this, we can insert multiple servers. Okay, so it will occupy lesser the space than tower server. Less space it will occupy as a tower compared to tower server. Less cabling, less power consumption. This is also one single rack. This is small one. This is a bigger one. You can see it's a single rack. Next is a blade servers. Blade servers. Of course, this is the blade server, guys. Is inserting a blade means in one single rack you can get a blades. So closer look. So multiple blades. Blades are small in size. Don't get more storage part. You have to follow centralized storage only, not more storage related. Cost is less, but we need a cost is less because of as compared to tower and rack. This is internally also not having more RAID controllers or a hard disk are not there. So only simple SSD, processor, RAM slots. That's it, and fiber optical cable connections. Means it occupies less space. Okay, and we use for a multi processors are required, multi systems required, then we use it. Okay, so simple blade servers. This is single rack server. You can see rack server. This is totally one rack, contains multiple blades. This rack contains racks like this. Like this kind of racks will be there inside. This is how data centers are look like. There is a servers. There will be a servers, networking related like a switches, routers, fiber optical cables. Okay, these are all, see the data center. Okay, so people who are like that. Here is some differences between these things. If you have a time or interested, you can read this thing also. Okay, so we can read that one, but I will tell about a small point that is related to a data center. Guys, what is a data center? So you have a server kind of stuff we discuss, but what is this kind of data center it is? A data center contains a servers. First of all, we seen something, right? So what we have in a data center, it contains a different type of server, tower server, rack servers, blade servers, networking components like a routers, switches, fiber optical cables, UTP, STP cables, okay, connectivity. This is remove this one. Okay, storage like a disk, SCSI disk, okay, SAS disk, SAN and NAS storages, SAN and NAS storages, iSCSI type of storages. Okay, just I'm giving names only. Okay, iSCSI type of storages, RAID levels, RAID type of storages, LVM storages, like that. Okay, so different type of storages, applications. Of course, in data center, applications also runs, right? Applications. Of course, cooling system, power supplies are important. Actually, okay. So, what is the data center means? What is the content in the data center? Servers, networking components, storage devices, applications, and cooling system, and mainly power supplies. Okay, guys, you have to monitor the data center. Monitoring the data center. What is monitoring the data center? What are the servers are there? What are the networking devices are there? Where it is went? Okay. What is the networking components are there? Networking devices are there. Okay. What are the servers are there? What applications it is running? What services it is providing? Okay. So, and how it is cooling system is going on? What are the servers are currently running? Okay, so these are the things about a data center, and we should monitor this data center continuously. Okay, so this is also one duty, guys, one of the service desk part, that is monitoring data centers. Monitoring data centers. Monitor all this environment, your cooling system, backup power supply, your servers, softwares or applications, networking components, storages, this entire infrastructure you should monitor. This is about your simple data center. Of course, guys, up to here, okay? No one is speaking anything.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, there is one more topic is there. Not one more. There is four more topics are there. Work group domain. Okay, what is work group? What is domain? What is Active Directory? What is DHCP? And what is DNS? Okay, but it take time. So that is the continuation of this topic. But what I will do, I will stop the recording now.